Are you a fan of legal courtroom dramas? If you are, you have probably come across the words that we are going to be discussing today, at least some of them. So our theme for this vocabulary video, law and order. I'm not going to discuss 3 words in 5 minutes as promised on the title. That's our series, but today we're going to be looking at 3 pairs of words in 5 minutes. These are words that are either related to each other, they sound similar and people often misuse them, or these are words that are antonyms of one another. Let's get started. The first pair of words that we're going to be looking at is conviction versus acquittal. Those are the noun forms. Convict and acquit are the verb forms. To convict someone is to find them guilty of a crime and give them a punishment. The antonym of that is to acquit someone, and that means that the person who was accused of a crime was found not guilty. So they were released and there is no longer any legal proceeding against them. So that's why you have convict and acquit. Another way to remember acquit is you're quitting the accusations. So acquit. Here's an example sentence. While the accused man was convicted for the murder, so they found in court that the man did commit the murder, his girlfriend was acquitted of the collusion charges. To collude with someone is to conspire with them. So if the girlfriend had also been convicted of the collusion charges, it means that she was not the person to actually murder the victim, but she was involved in it somehow. But the girlfriend has been acquitted, which means she was found not guilty of the collusion charges, which means the court found that she was not involved in any way with the crime. The second pair of words are words that are very similar looking, similar sounding, and therefore are often misunderstood for each other. So you have arbitration and arbitrary. Arbitration is a noun, arbitrary is an adjective. Very different in meaning. They're not antonyms like convict and acquit. They're completely unrelated words. Arbitration is a mediation. So in this image, you have 3 people sitting down together. One person, this person is likely the mediator, who is walking the other two through their dispute. Look, yes, I understand you are fighting about something. Well, let's not waste the court's time with an actual trial. Let's all sit down together and solve this dispute. That's the process of arbitration. Can happen between individuals, can happen between companies. Usually in a civil case, you're not going to have an arbitration session with a murderer. And usually the person doing the arbitration is appointed by the court. Just basically the court saying, take this dispute offline. Arbitrary, however, means entirely different. It means random, on a whim. If I just arbitrarily decide to do something right now, I'm just making a decision on a whim. Here's an example sentence with both those words. After attending 2 arbitration sessions, so there were 2 mediation sessions, the 2 brothers who were fighting over a parcel of land left by their father in his will. So the father left a land to his descendants and the brothers were fighting over that. So they had to go through arbitration to settle that family dispute on who gets what. But then they arbitrarily, just randomly on a whim, decided, what did they decide? They're giving the land to their sister. So they decided, oh, I'm not getting it, you're not getting it, let's not fight over it, let's just give it to our sister. And they made it on a whim, on a spur of a moment decision. And that's why we're saying they arbitrarily decided, it's neither of ours, let's give it to the sister. Our final pair of words, like arbitration and arbitrary, are words that sound similar and are therefore often confused with each other. And the final pair is persecute and prosecute, which are the verb forms. Persecution and prosecution are the noun forms. When a lawsuit is filed, you can have 2 people filing a lawsuit against each other, 2 individual parties. So you can have, for example, one brother filing a lawsuit against the other brother saying, oh, the father left the land to me. You can also have government appointed officials filing a lawsuit against someone, like in the case of the man who murdered somebody. So that's the government taking action against someone, and the government, in order to maintain law and order, will have a department that handles such cases. That department, that legally defined system that allows for legal proceedings in a court, that's the prosecution. So I have an image of a woman making an argument in front of a panel of judges. So I'm using her to represent the prosecution. So she is a prosecutor. However, persecute means entirely different. It means a systemic mistreatment of somebody or some group of people. In the history of our world, we have had repeated instances of people being driven out of their countries, out of their homes, because of their religious beliefs, because of their race, their ethnicity. Sometimes people are mistreated because of their gender. You have fewer rights. You're not allowed to have a say. So these victims, people who are driven out of their countries, that's a systemic problem existing in the entire nation. And they are people who have been persecuted. So you could say, for example, that the Nazis persecuted the Jews who lived in Germany. So that's entirely different from the legally defined system of filing a lawsuit against somebody. Persecute is to have systemic mistreatment. Here's an example sentence with both those words. After years of feeling persecuted at work for her religious beliefs, so she kept working in the organization, but she kept feeling like she was mistreated because of her religious belief. She decided to file a lawsuit against her employers and worked with the prosecutor to bring them to justice. Those are our 3 pairs of words. What other words around the theme of law and order do you think are GRE level words? Share those words and what you think are their meanings, maybe an example sentence in the comments. Let's keep this discussion going. Wait, I have disappeared from the screen, but that doesn't mean it's time for you to go. Here are some bonus words for you. Show us your proclivity for our videos. Hit that like button, hit the bell icon so that you can usher in future lessons by clicking on the graphical chime. And of course, you need to subscribe. Let us know your endorsement for the channel. See you in the next one.